So, way back in 1956, Benjamin Bloom, an educational psychologist, proposed three different learning domains with levels of learning, each organized in a hierarchical fashion. Hierarchical means that one level exists above or below the other. Achieving higher learning requires at least some mastery of the lower levels. Over time, there have been some changes in the hierarchy. The levels of learning are identified by required intellectual activities. The levels of learning are remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. The overall goal of learning is to ascend the hierarchy and therefore learn deeply. To this date, it would not be surprising if much of your formal, primary, and secondary learning may have occurred at the lowest level of learning. Certainly, college learning requires mastery of material at higher levels of the hierarchy. But you don't have to wait to college to engage in higher learning. Despite current learning expectations, you can take the initiative to truly learn. This presentation will review the hierarchy and provide examples of higher learning. So the lowest level of learning is remembering. This is the level of learning you might be most familiar with, since a lot of primary and secondary education is based on learning facts and concepts. Tests and quizzes often assess your ability to recall facts, oftentimes, in the case of multiple choice exams, with prompts as to the correct answer. Your ability to only recall facts and concepts is not the best indicator of how much you have learned. You may be a good memorizer, but what next? If all you have done is memorize some facts, how useful is that to you? Let's be clear, just because remembering is the lowest level of learning, that does not mean it is unimportant. Indeed, it provides a sound foundation for higher level learning. The question really is, after you remember, what do you do with that material? If you stop at remembering, although you may know some facts, you have not done anything to convert them into information that you can actually use. The next level of learning is understanding. Once you are able to recall facts, dates, events, and such, what's next? Understanding is about comprehension. Can you discern the reasons that makes those facts, dates, and events significant? What is it about the needs of 1619 colonists that caused them to turn to slavery? How could the framers of the U.S. Constitution agree to the Three-Fifths Compromise? By moving from simply remembering to understanding, you have taken a step closer to higher level learning, allowing you to use the information for your own maturation. Once you have demonstrated some understanding of the subject matter, the next level is applying. Applying suggests that you can use the learned information in different ways to solve a problem or explain a different event or fact. Hopefully, at this point in your education, you are striving to get to this level of learning. Certainly, a purpose of learning is to create, change, bolster, and validate your perspectives and thoughts, as well as guide your actions. When applying learned content, you take that which you understand and try to relate it to other experiences not necessarily related to the subject. For example, you may try to apply concepts from Brown versus Board of Education to today's charter school movement, or relate the 19th century Southerners' perceived existential threat to how some African Americans may feel and act in relation to police brutality. The next level of learning is analyzing. Analyzing includes breaking down learned material into its constituent parts and determining how the parts relate to one another or the bigger picture. This is an important learning skill. Analyzing helps to validate your understanding and improve your ability to apply learned content to other things. Analyzing the dynamics of changing neighborhoods and whole countries, for that matter, may bolster your understanding of the American Revolution, as well as changes that may be occurring in your own neighborhood. The next level of learning is evaluating. Rather than simply taking in the learned information, you attempt to validate the relative worth or veracity of the information based on criteria and standards that are as objective as possible. Evaluation is a crucial learning skill. Especially today, when so much is available through web-based entities, it is easy to believe content because it is written well or contained in a really nice website. However, when learning at this level, the learner compares the new content with that which they already understand, looking for patterns and logical relationships that may support the new material. The highest level of learning on Bloom's hierarchy is creating. This level puts all the lower levels together to form a new or functional whole. Indeed, this is a very high level of learning. It might include the synthesis of a new type of music or dance form, or the development of new academic or technical hypotheses, all based upon remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, and evaluating all you previously learned in a particular subject matter. Certainly, it is not an expectation that you should learn at this level. In academic settings, this level of learning is typically reserved for the highest levels of doctoral and postdoctoral work. So we started out with just a set of facts that you might be required to remember. Then we continue to increase our understanding of the facts, apply them to other situations, and continue to manipulate them and use our learning to enhance our growth and development. Learning is no simple thing and is not reserved to the classroom. Learning is a proactive process. There is no such thing as passive learning. Learned content sticks and has permanence because we don't stop at the lowest levels. We strive as much as possible to have it make sense, to in some way personalize it by finding its significance to our own existence. I know that this may sound like a lot when all you're trying to do is get a good grade, but it is important that we bring our entire selves to the learning process and are willing to work at learning, growing, and living. The Virtual University Initiative remains committed to your academic success. Please continue to visit our website regularly as we continue to add content and programming with you in mind.